The last time we get rid of one of the walls. As I was saying, it was quite a big step because that gave us an option to change what's gonna be instead of that fourth wall. And now I spent about a week of testing different things, but you may also remember that that was a short bit of a frame, and I was talking about this big plate 65 by 30, and was kind of bothering me because it was way too big for something except one thing, in my opinion, and something that I wanted to have for quite a long time, and something that I wanted to do for quite a long time. I figured that it was the perfect opportunity, the perfect chance to actually try it, which is a harp. Tall harp, taggle harp, kantele, whatever, call it whatever, it's the same thing, but now it's steel. I ain't gonna wait this time, I'm just gonna drop it straight away. Yeah, buddy. Whoop whoop. Sorry. Maybe that was not the introduction I was supposed to do. Anyways, so today we're gonna talk about this. And to begin the talk, funnily enough, I want to remove it because it is removable. Of course, it's just a panel. It is fairly quick. Just gonna take me 4 bolts to remove, and I'll get back to you. So we don't need this one no more. We can take it out. Without the panel, it looks like that. This is the current build, and I'll come back to that later on. But here we have it. Remember this plate? Now it's like a harp. And let me show you the back side. So, let's talk about the build. First of all, we start with a flat plate, 65 in a length and 30 in a width. But I kept in mind that original 30 by 30 gonna be this frame, this classic cube. It's attached to the cube, so that's gonna be a-okay. And the rest will be like sort of a hanging, because I saw it that way, and I wanted to place tuning pegs on one side and a bridge on the second side, so I would need a cut. I was thinking how to make it, how many strings and so on, and what kind of strings. And of course, I want a bass strings because they're beefier, more harmonics, more tension, more everything. So yeah. Plus I had a set of old bass strings. Why not? It's a good for test. Well, fortunately or unfortunately for the upcoming purposes, I have already purchased a set of cutted bass strings that are much more efficient for bowing. So all the coiling is just polished, so a bow got a more contact surface, which is good. But that is for the future when I fixed all these small details here. Now, I started with figuring out the way I'm gonna use it, and that was the most interesting part. First I started with all these kind of a nice and curves and shapes and forms and everything, but then I realized that I also need to keep frame. I need to keep the material so strings, when they apply tension, the plate wouldn't bend too much, and I need to keep it straight. I figured that I want to have two main zones of performance, it's for plugs and for hands, just to have it more simple and compact like it is in here. And the second zone for bowing. And since bow has the height and you always put it in and you touch the other object, so I made the spacing on the bowing part a bit wider, just to ease my own performance later on. And that mainly was the core of the aesthetics and of this middle cut. And it looks nice. It's still got some elements of design in it, aesthetics and functionality. I think that was the main interest for me, to see what I can do aesthetically as well, even though I usually don't bother about that, and aesthetics are as functional as possible. For the bridge, let's get rid of that part quickly. We have a bridge system, fairly simple. It's a 8-inch rod, 8mm rod, and the strings are going through. Simple as that. Slightly sanded the edges so it won't hurt the strings too much. Seems okay. And then, as you can see, I still got some paintings on top, and that was me thinking, how can I compensate the tension that the strings will bring? And I checked how many kilos can the bass strings come up with, and it was something from 80 kilos. And I was thinking that 2mm steel not necessarily gonna keep that 80 kilos nicely, so I had to have something. Yeah, I was just thinking that I can put here, if I can weld a nut to the surface like that. That was the original idea, and then I would have the second one, and then I put the rod in between them, and then by twisting the rod I can just apply the tension or sturdiness to the backside of the harp. I think I can call it harp. I ended up having this system, the system of, I don't know if they're officially called corners, but technically those are corners. I knew that it's gonna be a test, so I got the cheapest one that would fit the size. Yeah, they kind of work fine. I have 2 bolts contacting and keeping them intact with a plate for each one of them, and as you can see I have 2 6mm rods on each side. That is creating the rigidness. Yeah, there were options to put like a 8mm rod, I mean in thickness, and that'll do the job. To weld it, there are so many options how to make the system and how to mount it. And yeah, I wanted sorry, it's a standard thing. Every time I'm checking these parts, I'm trying to make sure that everything works, because there was some buzzing the other day and that pissed me off, and maybe it was this bolt that was just give some buzz. I didn't like it, I wanted to get rid of it, so once I saw it a little bit loose, just want to fix it, sorry. Anyways, so long story short, I know that I can cut these corners and make them look at least like that. It's the same one, but I just sanded, painted, and cut half of it so it doesn't look as ugly as the pure white one. I don't like this style, to be honest. So I'm considering black and red. Looks fancy on this build. But anyways, functionally it works now. I spread the tension by 2 rods on each side, 4 rods in total. And yeah, is it better than 8mm? I don't know. In my opinion, it looks better. And I'm the one making final decisions here. So we have set of 4 6mm rods here. I would need to expand the holes here later on to contact the corners properly, because some of them start wobbling a little bit. But all in all, what it gives us the system that is still, yeah, I mean, it's still moving. It's still flexible enough, but not too much. And that was the main thing that I wanted to have. So I would make it flexible, so it's like it's bendable, like flight rows, but big ass flight rows, and keep the tune at the same time. And the whole system is keeping the tune actually, because more or less, because I had it for a few days and I didn't have to tune too much after I made it once. But yeah, all in all, the idea was that I can just take it out or put it on just by using 4 bolts, and it will take me just a few minutes, and it works like that. This is the most important. Now let's come back to the tuning pegs. A fancy ones, a fancy black bass guitar tuning pegs. They are a little bit crooked here. You can see that this one is turned, this one is slightly turned. It's 2 left, 2 right bass tuning pegs, and it's a problem with them. And the problem is that they are made to be mounted on a wood, and wood has thickness. In our system we ain't got no thickness because it's a steel, and the whole construction of a peg demands to have some certain width. So I had to find about a 12mm bolts wide enough so the tuning peg would go through, and tall enough so it would do the function of a support. I mean, I could have just simply used these connectors on top of the tuning pegs and let it be, but the problem is that the contact surface is way too little, and I was genuinely afraid that it would just break the pegs and that'll be it. So I had to come up with an expansion of a contact surface, and it turns out to be this lofty steampunk kind of looking bolts. I dropped them to the ultrasound cleaner because they were much rustier, but that rust is good enough for me. I like it. Stylistically, I accept it. Now, the tuning pegs also got this little these ones. You see, it is made so the tuning pegs won't twist, won't rotate when the string is applied and it given a rotation towards the string. Since we have limited surface and friction is not the best one because it's steel on steel, tuning pegs are actually rotating, and that effect you can see in here. So they're just twisting. Like, the more tension I would apply, the more it would continue rotate inwards because this string is applied inwards. So what I'd have to do is either to find special washers that wouldn't allow the ball and tuning peg to rotate, or actually maybe weld the bolt to the plate and then make a little hole here where it's supposed to get in contact. So I would just put the bolt there and keep it the way it is. This is the main setup, and of course, yeah, the cut. Look at this one. It may piss some of you off that it's not symmetrical, and well, sorry, not sorry. I made it asymmetrical on purpose. First of all, because I was saying that I want to make asymmetrical things, because symmetrical things don't make that much sense in this build. It's not a doll, it's not a toy, it's a thing that has to be functional, first of all, in my opinion, and that's why we have it this way, because first of all, it opens better access to tuning packs. The most important, it's functional first of all, and then of course it's aesthetical. And I kind of briefly remember the shape of guitar and heads. Took kind of a similar shape to this build. I like it, that's good. Let me put it that way. The other big thing that I would like to discuss is this. It's slightly hidden, but it's here. Now it is here. We got legs. And legs are made in a way that they're damping the vibrations of a cube, and that isolates the cube from the desk. Now personally, I wouldn't say that I had that much big of a fun of that, because I like the way the desk is still taking the sound and works with the cube. I like that personally. But to have an option to have an isolated sound, I would need legs. And we use the cube in two major positions. It's, I would call it upright, when all the walls are on a horizontal. Dimension. Oh! And then sort of a laying. And for laying, it's simple because I use the holes that we had in the cube already. Luckily, these legs got the same M6 bolt, so it matches the whole system, which I love. The functionality of that is just simplified, and it makes my life much easier. And for the upright placement, we have the same legs that I was showing a bit earlier, these ones, that are contacted to the sides of a cube with the same M6 bolts, and then creating the flat surface looking down, and then you can just put the legs in here and it will be standing. And since I technically it's enough to contact with one bolt, the second one is spare. So what I did is just applied more strings and one of these bars, and it creates this one. It's nice, and why it's nice I'm gonna explain in a second. So here is my set of 4 plates, OG 7mm, OG 0.7mm plates, and they're all assembled on a one bolt, which means that I can fairly quickly contact it back on the side of a cube and have him again there. Now, after all these tests and sets and build-ups and teardowns again and again and again, I'm coming to a conclusion which is kind of logical, to be honest, and I knew that from the beginning, but practically it's so nice to hear that practically. The whole cube is just a frame. It's like a chassis, as I planned, to mount more elements on it. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't give acoustic qualities. Probably it does. I mean, the material does give some changes harmonically and so on, but on its own, if I just strings would sound, strings are strong enough, but like all the rods, everything else, if you just put it to the flat naked cube, there won't be too much of a sound, to be honest. And only with these plates and springs I can give it more acoustical properties. It start acting like a reverb. Every spring with a certain amount of tension would start acting like a spring reverb, but very small and tiny one. And that's why you need exciters, that's why you need amps, so you would trigger much more from that spring. And more of them you have with the proper tension. I would also get to test how much of a tension is needed. How much do I need to expand them to get needed effect? And right when I was talking about the springs, I just got a message that my spring set got delivered and I need to go and pick up the package, which I will do once I finish recording this video. It all means that now the set of plates and the set of springs is kind of important. Frame is good, but in this build, those are the core materials, the core ingredients. They're important. So now let's go through things that did not work out. Well, the tuning peg is rotating, it's fixable, yes. Now you also got to be careful with tightening them up, because the metals in those tuning pegs either, well, it's soft anyway. I was about to say either it's expensive and it's a bit better quality, but no, it's all in all, it's all gonna be fairly soft. Got to be careful with this anchor system. It's actually pretty powerful. And I use nuts on both sides, on the outside and the inside of each of these corners, and that allow me to have a full control of tension and where it goes. And I think it is fairly tense. It's not even straight. Is it straight? No, it's bended. This one is bended pretty drastically, you can see. I need to tune it a bit more. I need to figure it out. I probably would need to change the strings, because this string, the lowest E string, I cannot even tune it properly, to be honest, because the tuning pegs start rotating. So I kind of have only 3 strings, and they more or less keep the tune, even though I removed the whole thing from the cube. But this is the most important, that once I need it, I just put it back and it's all working nicely. It sounds good. It most definitely sounds good. I'm enjoying it because I'd say that it works exactly as I expected. And this is one of the rare things that happens to me in this project, that things are working like I would expect them for over than 50%. Usually it's 50 or less, every idea. But anyways, I really feel that I want to go pick up my springs, see what I have, and probably have another build, have another play, and then yeah, I'll just show you what we have. I'm pretty excited about this one. Alright, talk to you later.